The spear shaft is gone. Lost to the white fury, all that remains is the cold ache in his shoulder and the fire in his leg where the rock turned under him. He calls it a fire, but it is a liar's warmth. The real cold, the deep cold, is a patient predator now working its way into his marrow. The wind doesn't howl, it grinds. A relentless scouring of ice and air that strips the world of sound, of scent, of direction. He tries to call out again. A name, a sound that means clan. But the wind snatches the breath from his lips and flings it into the blinding chaos. There is no up, no down, only the shifting wall of white and the bite of the storm. This is how the world ends, not in shadow, but in light so absolute it erases everything. This chapter of hominid history is written in desperation. His world has shrunk to the next step, and the one after that. He leans on the splintered length of a sapling, his good leg plunging into drifts, his bad one dragging behind, a dead weight of agony. The thick hides he wears, stitched with sinew, are heavy with ice. Each breath is a labor, a searing intake of Arctic air that offers no life, only a deeper chill. He remembers the hunt, the sudden turn of the young bull mammoth, the scattering of the hunters. He remembers the rumble of the great beasts, the Pleistocene megafauna that are both their sustenance and their terror. He was the one who turned, who saw the opening, who slipped on the unseen sheet of ice beneath the fresh powder. A crack, not of ice, but of bone. The clan was gone, swallowed by the sudden blizzard. Now, he is a ghost in a world of ghosts. Early humans knew this loneliness well, a primal fear older than any predator. He falls, not with a crash, but a slow, weary surrender. The sapling smelts. He lies in the snow. The grinding of the wind now a distant hum. The pain in his leg is fading, replaced by a strange, hollow numbness. This is the great trick. The cold offers a final, gentle peace. Hypothermia is a quiet killer, a soft-voiced invitation to sleep. He can feel his blood slowing, or thick, cold river in his veins. His thoughts, once sharp with the panic of survival, now drift. He sees the cave, the glow of the fire on the rock walls, the faces of his kin, their eyes reflecting the flames. He sees his mate, her hands stained with ochre. He sees his child, small and fierce, clutching a tool of knap-edged flint. It is a good death dream. He closes his eyes, the ice on his lashes sealing them shut. The heart of this era of prehistoric life is the fight against an indifferent world. And he has lost. The snow begins to cover him, a final, cold blanket. He is just another hillock in an endless, white landscape. The world does not end. It returns, not as a thought, but as a vibration through the frozen earth. A deep, rhythmic shudder that works its way up through his bones. It is a feeling he knows. It is the tread of giants. He is no longer alone. A shadow falls over him, a moving eclipse that blots out the grey, swirling light of the storm. Terror, cold and sharp, cuts through the fog of hypothermia. It is a gift. The fear is a fire, a desperate spark of life in the dying embers of his consciousness. He tries to move, to find the flint knife at his belt, a shard of moose Terrian craft that is his only defiance. His arm will not obey. He is a stone, frozen to the ground. He can only wait for the tusk, or the slip, a current of war. Damp hair washes over his face, melting the ice on his eyelashes. It smells of wet fur, of tundra grass, of something ancient and vast. He forces his eyes open. A wall of coarse, dark hair fills his vision. A great, wrinkled trunk descends, its prehensile tip hovering just over his head. Sniffing, testing the air around him, he sees the eye then. A small, dark, intelligent eye, framed in a continent of leathery flesh. It is the matriarch. He knows her kind. He has seen them from a distance. The old queens who command the herd, who remember every water source, every treachery of the landscape. He has seen them lead the charge when the hunters get too close. when the spears thrown from the outlet find their mark. This is the end he expected. A final, crushing justice. But the foot does not fall. The tusk does not strike. The matriarch lets out a low rumble, a sound so deep it is felt more than heard. In response, the other shadows close in. He is surrounded, not by attackers, but by a living bastion. The immense bodies of the prehistoric animals form a circle, their shaggy flanks pressed close, creating a wall against the wind. The grinding roar of the blizzard recedes to a muffled howl. The punishing cold lessens, replaced by a strange, profound warmth radiating from the circle of flesh. It is impossible. It is madness. Yet the heat seeps into his frozen hides, into his skin, into his very blood. The shivering returns, violent and racking, as his body fights its way back from the edge. This is the cruel paradox of survival. Life's return is agony. He lies there, a helpless part of this strange tableau, a hunter sheltered by his prey. A testament to the unpredictability of life million years ago and the complex story of our human ancestors. The foundation of anthropology is built on such inexplicable moments, the data points that defy easy explanation. The storm breaks with the dawn. A profound, unnatural silence descends upon the landscape, a world muffled and remade in white. The sun is a pale disk in a sky of bleached bone, its light throwing sculpted snowdrifts into sharp relief. He is alive. The pain is a roaring fire and his leg and a dull ache in his shoulder. But it is the pain of the living. The circle of giants remains. Their great, shaggy bodies steaming in the frigid air, their slow, rhythmic breathing a living pulse in the stillness. This quiet moment feels more precarious than the storm. He is a piece of a puzzle that does not fit, a splinter of bone in the heart of a god. The matriarch turns her great head, her dark eye fixing on him once more. There is no menace in it, only a deep, ancient knowing. The impossible truce holds, but it is fraying with the morning light. A low rumble passes through the herd. It is time. The matriarch takes a step, then another, her massive feet sinking deep into the new snow. The living wall around him disassembles, each mammoth turning to follow their leader. They are moving on, driven by the timeless imperatives of foraging and migration. For these ancient humans, survival was a constant negotiation with such forces. He is faced with a choice. He can remain here, in the hollow of warmth their bodies have left in the snow, and wait for the cold to reclaim him, or he can rise and walk. He pushes himself up, a cry of agony strangled in his throat. The cold hits him like a physical blow, a stunning contrast to the impossible warmth of the night. He stands, leaning on the broken shaft of his spear, a solitary, wounded figure in a vast, indifferent world. The matriarch pauses, looking back at him for a single, young moment. There is no comprehension, no human emotion to be read, only an acknowledgement of existence. Then she turns and leads her family into the white horizon. Alone, he takes a step, his survival skills, honed over a lifetime of hardship, take over. He reads the wind-scoured ridges, the bend of the frozen saplings. He knows this land, but it is changed, its landmarks buried. He moves toward a rise he hopes is familiar, a place where a vein of red rock cuts through the grey stone. It is the source of the ochre his people used to paint the stories of the hunt, to honor the dead. It is a landmark of home. This journey is the essence of human evolution, not a grand march of progress, but a series of desperate, painful steps through a hostile world. The traces he leaves in the snow are a fleeting record, a story that will vanish with the next wind, a whisper in the ground silence of prehistory. Yet in this moment, he is the vessel of all that matters, the fire of consciousness, the stubborn will to endure, and the memory of a warmth that came not from his own kind, but from the heart of the great beasts. He sees it, late in the day, as the pale sun begins to die. A wisp of smoke, a dark thread rising against the white canvas of the world. It is the cave. It is home. He does not run. He can only stumble, a broken thing dragging itself back to the fire. This single, unrecorded event on an ancient Earth is more than a story of survival. It is a fracture in the expected order of things, an anomaly that the dry records of archaeology can never capture. There was no miracle here, only the intersection of a brutal environment, a creature in a state of non-threatening collapse, and the complex social intelligence of a herd of Pleistocene megafauna. This moment, this impossible sanctuary, speaks to a world far more complex than a simple chronicle of hunter and hunted. It suggests that the capacity for profound, non-transcational action might not be the exclusive patent of Homo sapiens. The struggle of our human ancestors was not only against the cold and the claw, but also against the terror of the unknown, and in their endurance, they laid the foundation for our own instincts. We are the descendants of those who stumbled home, carrying impossible stories that became the first legends, the embers from which the great fires of civilization were kindled. Their world of deep time is gone, but the echo of their resilience, their ability to find hope in despair, remains imprinted on our very being. We are all just chroniclers of the deep past, sifting through the dust for a flicker of that original fire. Become one of us, find a story etched in bone or stone, and tell it. We listen for the echoes in the silence of a world that was. But sometimes, the silence screams back.